Okay, I just have to size a ring up a size and a half. It's a little silver ring here that I sold. And so I will show you how to do this really quick. I cut it right in the middle. Hold it against the bench pin really tight. It needs to go from an 8 to a 9.5. So just pull it up the mandrel. Probably have to go past the 9.5 to get it to stretch. And so I like to get it just a little under, so say a 9.25 right now. And then what I do is I have a barrette file, and I'm going to file, instead of the edges flat, I want to have them with what is known as a dovetail. When I had a trade shop years ago, I used to be able to size rings in 3 minutes. You can do a lot of ring sizings, and you can do them in 3 minutes. So I think you can kind of see what a dovetail looks like. It's kind of like a V. So now what I want to do is I have a little piece of metal here, and I need to do the same thing, actually the opposite, so that when I fit the two together, they fit together really well. So I like to use a separating disc in my flex shaft. Now we got to figure out how much of this silver it's going to take to span that gap. I'm just going to kind of take a guess here. And I need to file that flat. And then what we'll do is we'll check it again. That looks pretty good. Now what we want to do is add that V into this side. Okay, now that should fit right in there. Let's try turning it over, see if it fits better. Alright, so you can kind of see how that fits in there. It's nice and snug. So the next thing I'm going to do, put it in my third hand here. Now I don't like to use solder. I like to tell people that they get a solid ring with no solder in it. So I take a piece of the same silver and I roll it out into a little piece of plate that I can use as solder, and I fuse the ring. Now I've got some pieces already cut right here. I'm going to use a little different torch than I normally use, just because the other one doesn't have the right tip on it at the moment. I think this is closer to the kind of torch many of you use. So we heat it up, put some flux on it. I prefer the green flux over the white flux. So we heat that up, and we'll ball up. Now this is pieces of silver, not solder. And I'm going to do it just like as though I were soldering it. But I'm actually going to fuse it right. Of course, this takes longer, but it produces a better product, so there's one side. There's the second side. But I'm going to check it just to make sure that it soldered well on the bottom as well. And it did, so we can turn off the torch. Now I would, normally I'd set it on a block like this and let it cool. But I don't want to wait too long while we're doing the video. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of water. Okay, so now I have a half round file. I got a little groove in my bench pen. It's going to be hard for you to see, but I'm going to file the inside. Long strokes, pushing away from you. If you use short strokes, you'll end up making grooves. So you want nice long strokes. Get it nice and flush with the other metal. Throw it on the mandrel. Rawhide mallet. So we're right at about the 9.5 was right where I want to go. You know, you do enough of these, you get pretty good at guessing. Okay. Now I have a flat file here. Next thing I would do after the inside would be the side. And again, nice long strokes. You got to blend that in so it looks like it was never there. And then the other side. Just remember, a file cuts as it's pushing away from you. You want to make sure you don't thin out the shank. The ring, after its size, should look like it was, should be the same thickness. After that, we do the top side. Nice long strokes. This thumb gets beat up quite a bit, but it's just pushing against the bench pin to keep the ring in place. And again, I'm using nice long strokes. Want the shank to be even. Now I got to go back in and take out the edge. On each side of the ring. Once we have that done, I'm going to do a little bit more on the top here.